Okay. So this is regarding the recruiting case studies. And so Nick,
Yes.
regarding the so imagine you're one of the bankers at Super Saturday. Which two candidates would you hire and why?
Okay. I would hire, I think, the Natalia girl and the Martin Street. Just because they're both just because their backgrounds, one was because of finance and analytics, and the other one had good leadership. So I think that kind of gives a wide variety of options for the bankers.
Awesome.
Did you lick it?
I smelled it. Now that you put
what about you, Kaya?
Okay. Same question?
Yes.
I said Natalia and Ken. Natalia, I have it written down here. I said Natalia. She should be hired because she has drive, she wants to work, and has lots of experience, and knows multiple languages, so it helps with communicating with clients. And she's positive and friendly, except for, I guess, not so friendly, according to what the case study says. And Ken, I said, because he also is experienced, and he's excited and eager to work. And he thinks that with this small family, he's still able to juggle. He believes that with a small family, he's confident that he will be able to work what he needs to work, including, and he understands that the average banker is crazy and thinks he can do it.
Okay. So let's go through each of the 4 candidates and discuss why our team would or would not hire them. So this is kind of along the lines of what we just did. So here we have Natalia, which like you both said, she has a lot of experience with finance. She looks like she's a great student, which means that she puts in a lot of work. And like you said, she brings diversity in with being from Poland and bringing lots of different languages. And let me see. So there was the concern that one of them said that they were a little worried because about her culture fit with the other associates, because she seemed stiff and uncomfortable during small talk at the opening of the interview, and also at dinner the night before. And one of the other directors was worried that her less than perfect English would affect her ability to work with her managers. But some of the other people came to her defense and said that it was too easy to use culture as an excuse, and thought that she had good enough English to conduct business with clients and things like that. So what do you guys? So I actually agree with all of you that we should hire her. But what do you think about these reservations that they have about her kind of being stiff, and also her communication with clients and managers?
I think one of the bigger things in that section for me would probably have to be the communication. It's important, I think, they can, as long as they can communicate with the people and the people know what they're talking about, I think it's fine. But if she doesn't really speak English, then I think it'd be tough. But as long as she can communicate, I think it'd be good.
I'm wondering if her like stiff manner at dinner was just because, I mean, it's a new job. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know about you guys, but it's always a little awkward trying to figure out where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, it is.
And they did seem really concerned about culture, like the culture and the environment of the work. But I think that generally people warm up to new people.
Mhm. Yeah, I think with time it'd sink in and she'd get more used to everything and everybody.
Yeah.
Did you have anything on that, Kaya?
I just think that she probably would do better with the whole small talk and everything. But as you said, it's like scary because it's like it's just the beginning of everything. And so she's probably nervous or whatever. So that may not be an accurate assessment because it may not be the same in the future when she has the job.
Right. Okay. So let's see, the next one is Martin Street. Nick, you said that you would have hired him. So just kind of as a reminder, he's the runner and the athlete. Comes across as dynamic, confident, and articulate. They are worried because he is, while he seems really awesome, they had difficulty scheduling him because he was involved in recruiting for other firms. And so they were a little worried that he would kind of string them along and not really accept or reject their offer until he got some offers from other firms. And that's a really bad sign because they might not be able to get somebody else. If he does reject it eventually, they might not be able to get somebody else in. And it shows that he doesn't really want to work with them versus just getting a job. So, I guess kind of what are your thoughts on like why? I guess Nick, how would you respond to those concerns with that?
It also said in there that he didn't have much business experience. But something that stood out to me is it said he was experienced and he was confident. I think that if they offered him the job and if he was really interested, that the reason he's experienced or a great leader, I think he would step up his game and.
Oh,
Can you
sorry,
hear me?
you cut out there for a second. Yes, now I can.
I think that he would step up his game and maybe leave behind his other recruiting things that he's doing. But I definitely think it's a risk because they don't know for sure if he's would do that or not.
Yeah. So Kaya, why wouldn't you hire Martin?
Why would I hire Martin?
Or why would you not hire him? You chose Ken over Martin. So why wouldn't you?
Yes. Sorry, I'm getting the child cereal. Please.
Oh, I totally get you.
Cereal. There you go. Okay. I left my testing card. I am trying to pull up the case study right now.
Oh no, that's fine. So he's the one that doesn't have any business. He doesn't have any business experience, but he served in the military. He has really good leadership. He was president of his section at Wharton, and also in the running club. He's completed 2 marathons and 1 triathlon in the past year. He came across as dynamic and confident and articulate. But they are concerned because he's doing a lot of other recruiting opportunities, and they're not sure if he really wants to go to SG Cowan or if he just is trying to get a job. So
okay, can I answer that question after, because I half heard what you said.
yeah.
I have crazy children right now. Okay.
Oh no, I totally get that.
Okay. Do you want to go to the next one while I look at this and answer?
Yeah, totally. Let me see. Next we have Ken Goldstein. Just as a reminder, he was a manager at Bryce Waterhouse Coopers, or PwC, resolving technical accounting issues. Has a really good reference. The only concern that they have is that he'll want weekends off for his kids and not be willing to work 24/7. Like the rest of the associates, and the other associates will pick up on that and also want more time off and things like that. One of the interviewers said, "I commend him for trying, but I break promises to my kids all the time to take them to the first day of school, to get home for a game." And another banker said, "It's weird to say this because we always say we're looking for maturity, but I almost think Ken's too mature. If he were on my team, I wonder if he would do what I tell him to do, or if he'll just like taking orders."
One thing, I think if that's definitely a big concern, but as long as he got his work done and his responsibilities done, he might have to put in the extra time on the weekdays to do that. But I think as long as he's doing his job, and maybe that's something that they could have told him, that you might have to put in more hours on weekdays in order to get your job done that you were supposed to do on Saturdays. Maybe something like that would be an option for them too.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to answer that one or the one about Martin? Because I have that one too.
Let's go back to Martin really quick.
Okay. So I said no to Martin because, like, at the end it says that he was looking at other options and it didn't seem super interested in the SG Cowan, and so they just didn't want to waste the time hiring him, and then Martin not being super devoted to wanting to work for this company, and therefore not deciding their company, choosing another company over theirs, or being very indecisive about what to do. They want someone that's like devoted and really wanting to work for the company. Okay.
So then what about Ken? Why would you hire him, even though they are concerned about his dedication with his family, balancing out his family? Why would you hire him anyway?
So with Ken, I don't know. I think that he is based on what I read, I think he could get what he needs to get done because he understands that he has the little kids, and he has just previously worked for the 5 years at the other company. I don't know if that was with the kids or without the kids, but he can always work the extra time on different hours that work around his family. But I don't know. I guess it's hard to say because he won't know until he starts the job if he's able to manage both well enough or not. But he thinks he can, and so.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I noticed was that he has a 2-year-old, so he was at least working for 2 years at his other company beforehand. And I think that he would bring a lot of diversity in, because it seems like a lot of the associates are like single,
Right. Yeah.
or they just don't have, kids, or they just don't care as much about their kids and their promises to them. And so it seems to me that he would bring some good diversity, and frankly, that maturity. I think it's kind of ridiculous that one of the interviewers said that they're worried that he's too mature and that he wouldn't take orders, because in my mind, a sign of maturity is doing what you have to do before you what you want to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so I think that taking orders is part of maturity. Like, somebody who's mature is actually willing to take orders, and it's a sign of somebody who's immature that they won't take orders. And just because he's been in like leadership responsibilities in the past doesn't necessarily mean that he's gonna take over.
Right. Yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so then the last person is Andy Sanchez. He's from Southern California. He started his business, and their main concern was that he had a really low GPA. I mean, not really low. It was lower than some of the other people at 2.8, and for his undergrad, and that his current business school GPA is 3.1. And so they were kind of concerned that he was getting a lot of C's. But he did have some really good SATs and GMAT scores, and so.
Didn't they say that he created those?
What?
Wasn't that what he? Didn't he? It say he.
He started a business that was that helped prepare students.
Oh, okay.
Spanish for the SATs.
Okay, that makes more sense. I was like, of course he got good grades on those.
He wrote them. No, he helped prepare for them. So yeah, I mean, or at least he started a company that helped kids prepare for them. So, yeah, their biggest concern was that GPA. So why wouldn't neither of you guys chose to hire him? No. Why would that be a no for you?
I really didn't realize that it talked about his. In that last paragraph there, I'm looking at the case study now about his SAT scores. It says the reason he got low grades. That's the reason I was kind of not thinking that he'd be a good option. Right. But I think the reason he got low grades is because it said he put his time into his business. But it shows like he has the intelligence or the knowledge because he passed on his overall SAT. So he could be.
Are you changing your answer then?
Kind of. Maybe.
Yeah, I kind of did that too. I kind of I read over his, and then somehow he just disappeared from my mind. So I was only going through those three.
Yeah.
But the more I look at Andy, I'm like, I actually really like that because it shows that he has a drive for, going. And the fact that not only did he put himself through school, but he also put his two younger brothers through school while starting a business. And he still got C's and passed his classes. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, that is.
No. Yeah, we don't want ushers inside.
No. Okay, let's move on a little bit. I want to have additional information making these decisions because we don't know very much about these people, in all honesty. So, what additional information would be useful to you in making this decision?
What was the first part of the question? Sorry, it cut out.
Oh no, just what other information would be useful to you in making this decision? Because we really don't know very much about them. So, if you could have other information. What would it be?
I guess
so some follow-up questions with that. Just to kind of help you think. What would you want to know about the type of person who can succeed at SD Cowan, or what else would you want to know about the candidates? Like things like that.
Probably, I guess, did it talk much about how they interact with other people?
Not really.
That might be good to know how they work in the workplace. And I guess it really doesn't talk much about, it does a little bit about their future, but really what each of their future, kind of what they have in plan. And I guess it didn't talk about the pay, what they plan on getting paid. And I think all that plays an important role in deciding if a person is fit for the job. And also they seem to be kind of concerned about people when they get married with their lack of time. Maybe to know about their relationship, and I think stuff like that.
Okay, what about you, Kaya? What do you want to know to help you make the decision?
I don't think she knows her Dale's on mute.
Oh. Wait, you're on mute. You're on.
I know.
Okay.
I was on because he's having a fit.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay. So I was listening until he started screaming on my ear.
No, I totally get that. Okay. So, what other information would be useful to you in helping you make this decision? Such as, like, what kind of information about the people who can succeed at SD Cowan, or the candidates themselves?
Oh, okay. I wrote this answer down.
I'm gonna shut that off.
Okay, so you just want like the qualifications that we think, or I think are good to have.
Or what information would you want? What additional information would you want, either about the candidates or about SD Cowan, that would help you make the decision for which candidate would be better? Like, if you could know anything more to help you make the decision.
I'm not understanding the question.
So, like, when you're making a hiring decision, there are a lot of factors that go in it. We don't know very much about these candidates. So if you could know anything else, anything more, either about the candidates or about SD Cowan and how the job works, like, what would you want to know to help you make a decision? What would make it easier to make a decision?
I know in the other thing we read, it talked about a certain type of interviewing technique, about like asking questions about what they did in other jobs in the past. That would be a good thing to do, because then you can know how they handle certain situations.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's a good thing that we should do, and make sure that they understand that the hours tend to be crazy for people in their type of work, and so they're ready to take on those hours. At least that's from what I understand from the reading.
Yeah. Something that I was thinking about was, I kind of want to know what kind of when they talk about cultures, they talk about like the culture of the company. I kind of want to know what the culture of the company is.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't Natalia fit in with the culture? Is it like, do they have a really loose, relaxed culture? At the same time, if they do, they are also working really long hours. So like kind of like what you said, I would want to know exactly what the time commitment was. Like, why are they missing stuff with their family versus, like, is it absolutely necessary that they do that for their job, or is it just something that's like an extra thing, you know? So I guess kind of like what the culture is and why they are so concerned with like time commitment.
Yeah.
Okay. So we talked about how we would get that information with the different interviewing questions, different interviewing formats. My words are escaping me. Okay. Okay, so let's go into part 2. This is talking about the interview process. So why do you think there's so much disagreement between the senior bankers in the Saturday meeting about which recruits to hire?
So much disagreement. I guess
I can ask. Oh, go ahead.
I guess that it kind of makes sense. So everyone has their different opinion, and everyone works in a different way and thinks in a different way, and everybody connects with someone better than they do with another person, and I think all that has to do a part in their decision and what they thought was good and what they thought was bad with each of the candidates.
Yeah. So do you think part of this, so that's kind of coming back to kind of like personal opinions. Do you think that it's partially because of the interview process, like, or because of the type of interviews that they have? Like, do you think that would contribute? Do you think that is contributing to how much disagreement there is?
Interview process. I think it could be. I lost my train of thought for right now. Here and see. I think the interviewing, I don't know, the interview, it seems like it's a real brutal, I guess, interview process. And I think that could be playing some role in it.
So then, Kaya, you mentioned some different interview tactics. Do you think that there would be a better way to learn about the candidate rather than the traditional interview? Like, do you think other than the traditional interview, there's any way to find out who the best candidates are?
Well, they had this situation where they saw them in the group setting with everyone else, which would be a good thing to do. Yeah. And it's what?
So some of the
yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I don't know. I think because they did the interviews and then they did the dinner and all of that. So I haven't thought of anything else that they could do to see what they want to know about the candidates.
Okay, so some of the examples it gives, and I guess I can read through these and you guys can tell me what you think would be maybe the best option. But it says, like, one of the options would be have applicants demonstrate the ability to do certain job tasks. One of them was have them spend a whole day with someone to see what the job is like. Another one is have them do internships. Like one of them is do the interviews but focus on behavioral questions, like tell me about a time when you disagreed with your boss. What did you do? or have interviewers ask the same questions and evaluate applicants based on the same criteria. So I guess those are some examples. I don't know what you guys think about those. There were quite a few there.
I think the same criteria, I think that one would be good, or the internships. But it also depends on how soon they want these people working for them. Because if they went with an internship, it would take maybe longer to see the results, but maybe you'd get more of an accurate reading. You said one more in there, but I forgot what it was.
There were a couple more. One of them was have them demonstrate the ability to do certain job tasks. I think that one would be kind of hard with the investment banking because you like have clients that you're investing for them. So I'm not sure that one would really work out super well.
Mm-hmm.
One of them is have them spend a whole day with someone to see what the job is like. And then the last one is do the interviews but focus on behavioral questions like tell me about a time when you disagreed with your boss, what did you do? So Kai already mentioned that one.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'd be good maybe to, even if you just don't focus on one topic, but maybe use a little bit from each one, maybe you'd get more of a broad area of results, I think.
Yeah. What do you think, Kaya?
She's on mute again.
You're there you go.
I also accidentally ended the call and had to come back in.
Okay, so this is so we talked about different ways to learn more about the candidates in a traditional interview. So we there's having them do internships, but Nick said that would probably take longer to see the results, but you might end up with better candidates or better choices out of your candidates. One of them was do the interviews, but focus on behavioral questions, like tell me about a time when you disagreed with your boss. What did you do? So you suggested that one actually. And then the last one was have interviewers ask the same questions and evaluate applicants based on the same criteria. And Nick liked that one. I guess, what do you think of that one?
Yeah, I think that's good because it sees what level they're at based on with the other candidates and see what would be better and which ones would be stronger in certain areas and which ones would be weaker in certain areas.
Yeah. I think it also provides them an opportunity to see the candidates a little bit more objectively because it's they're all on the same criteria versus lots of different criteria. Okay. How do senior bankers know what they're supposed to be looking for in a candidate, and how could this process be improved? What did you notice were some of the criteria they looked for?
Criteria? I don't really remember that.
Yeah, it kind of just mentioned that. Let me see. It mentions there
it is.
Yeah, here we go. Is one of the says he was known to change the structure for fit, in that he had created jobs for people he thought they should hire. As he put it, we can stretch for personality, we can stretch for sparkle. So it almost seems as though they're looking for fit, for sparkle, for personality. I don't know. Do you guys? That's kind of funny. Are those really good criteria to use, or did they just encourage those hiring to feel good about their bias toward people just like themselves?
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say that is good criteria. maybe
Yeah.
they could use that as like one section of the criteria, but I think they need more analytical and performance options and requirements, maybe.
Yeah. I like that answer.
I do too. I think it's really funny, like reading that, because it just reminds me of that whole section we just did on diversity, and about like, well, they're not a good fit because they're not exactly like me, or they just don't sparkle. But like, do you really want an investment banker to sparkle?
Yeah.
Like, or just because, I don't know, personality, like some of the people that I've worked with have totally different personalities than I do, and it almost enhances the work, and it's really good because not all of our clients or customers liked either my personality or their personality, so it was good that they had both. And so I think that's really important, that they go beyond those very general ambiguous criteria. That's really sad.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we're gonna go on to school recruiting. So let's see. One of the questions is, would it make sense for the company to recruit from other graduate programs like law or technology, and why or why not? Kaya, why don't you answer this one? So right now they're just hiring from business schools.
Go down here.
Okay, go downstairs. So you said technology, something about technology.
Yeah. No, would it make sense for the company to recruit associates from other graduate programs like law or technology, and why or why not?
Yeah, it makes sense because they can have like a wider variety of people from different places and backgrounds. I guess any college can have people from different backgrounds, but yeah, it just gives them a wider range of options if they do that sort of thing too. I'm gonna look at your questions so that I can like stop asking you to repeat yourself.
What was that? As I asked you to repeat yourself.
Yeah.
Nick, what do you think about that one?
I'd say close to the same thing Kaya said. It just gives more of a broad and diverse. They all, I don't know how to say it. They all have different things that they know how to do, and I think that goes back to the diversity section. Everyone's not the same. Everyone's different.
Like that. Okay, so so right now they're currently sorry, I totally just so they're currently recruiting from like the 15 to 25 schools under the top 10 schools. Do you think they should change from their core school strategy and go back to the top 10 schools now that okay, let me restart this. So now the way recruiting is working now in the investment banking industry is they have a lot of candidates. Basically, they have their pick of candidates because it's an employer's market. There aren't as many jobs as there are candidates, and so they can basically take their pick. Do you think they should change back from their core school strategy now that it's like that, and go back to recruiting from the top 10 schools? Or do you think they should keep their core strategy? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Well, Well, it depends how well they think their strategy is actually working. One thing, if they switched it up, it might bring more of that diversity factor into it, and they might get more diverse people, but then it also might be a disadvantage because it wouldn't be something that they're as used to doing. I'm not sure if that answered it or not, but
I think so. Okay, so then, Kaya, what do you think the pros and cons are of their approach to recruiting on campus?
You cut out.
Oh, sorry. What are the pros and cons of their approach to recruiting on campus? Here, let me.
Yeah, so the oh my goodness, this cat. I have a sick cat and I have to take her to the vet by 1 o'clock. And it's 12:55. Oh! Okay. So the pros would be they get to get students who are in the major, or not major, but like who are at school because they want to be at school, so they're looking for jobs and they are eager to do what the recruitment team may be looking for. And then the con would be they would not have much experience in the job because they're still in school. I don't know if that answers the question.
I think so. Something that I thought was interesting is they don't have, I mean, they have like a set thing where they're supposed to go in, give a short like presentation, then have kids come up after them. But they don't really have like a set like requirement for other things. So like some of the people are inviting them to come in for informational interviews where it's not actually, and some of them aren't. Some of them are really hard on the students, like really. So they don't. But some of them are like really easy with the students, and so I think all the different students from all the different schools are getting a different idea of what is expected of associates, rather than coming across as like a clear front. This is who we are. This is what it takes to succeed in our company, kind of a thing. They're all kind of scattered around. And so I think that having, like, one of the cons is that they're just super scattered. All of the recruiting agents have a different idea of the best way to recruit. And it comes across as very scatterbrained, not very put together company. And it can confuse the candidates when they go into interviews and all of a sudden they're being asked about, suddenly it's a brutal interview process when it was made to seem as though it was pretty easy,
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of one of the things that I thought. Okay. Okay, so let's move on, because I know that you have to go to the vet. So this is talking about Super Saturday. What were some of the objectives of Super Saturday?
When you say objectives, what do you mean like the goals?
Yeah, like what are they trying to get out of Super Saturday? Why do they have Super Saturday?
I guess to find out more about the person and find out how they maybe interact with others, or more of a personality of them.
Yeah, it helps them narrow down the candidate list by having the extensive interview process, and so it weans out the ones who are not as interested in doing that lengthy process, So it shows that they're not actually as interested in the job itself. And then they see how they interact with others when they're all the candidates are together with the hirees and all of that.
Like that. So do any of the objectives conflict with one another?
I don't know.
I think that it's hard to tell. We didn't get a ton of information. All we did was kind of get the itinerary of it. So I don't know if we really have
That's kind of a tough question.
So what kind of information did SG Cowan gain from the candidates during this process? Like what did they learn about the candidates because of Super Saturday? You kind of talked about how you said that, it kind of allows them to see the recruits or the candidates in kind of a social setting at dinner. So you can kind of see how they interact with other people in uncertain environments.
Mm-hmm. One thing that kind of stood out to me when you said that is maybe their desire or their interest in working there. Because if someone's going to go do that all day long and have a brutal interview process, they must be pretty serious about wanting the job.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay, so what are the pros and cons to the Super Saturday approach? We already talked about kind of, you get to see who's really interested. And then we also get to see in social settings and under pressure, especially after long days.
Yeah.
But one of the cons, I guess, what are some of the cons to Saturday approach?
I think that one thing that could be said as a con is maybe it's so long that people lose interest or lose their because I know when I do something for so long and it's the same thing over and over and over, I kind of get tired of it, and maybe people get so exhausted that by the end they don't care. That could maybe be a con.
Yeah, they lose their enthusiasm.
Yeah.
One of the things I was thinking was, especially at this recruiting one, it's storming outside. Everybody wants to get home, and so I'm wondering if the recruiting associates, those who are in charge of hiring, I wonder if they're as thorough as they should be because they just want to get out of there because they've been there all day.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if they take as much time to thoroughly gut out the candidates that they should, versus just being like, he seems good enough, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That kind of makes sense because if it's a long day, they're going to just want to go home and be done with it. So they may, as you said, not ask all the questions they need to or take their questions into consideration as much as they need to.
Right. Well, and one of the candidates even said, hey, it's my anniversary, and if I'm not home by a certain time, then I'm dead meat. So, obviously it's kind of gets there. They're pretty anxious to get out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go on to the final wrap-up. What is the difference between recruiting and hiring?
Recruiting and hiring.
So I think recruiting is when you go out and find people, and then hiring is just hiring people that come to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one. So recruiting is when they actually are going to the schools, talking to the students there, whereas hiring is like more the interview process, actual getting them the, closing the deal and then integrating them into the company kind of thing. Whereas recruiting is like the going out and trying to find people to hire.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
So what did you learn from this case about recruiting?
What did I learn? Maybe just the importance. Again, I've talked a lot about diversity. Maybe the importance of diversity and maybe the way that you approach recruiting and hiring employees. I think you need to take all that into mind and the people that you have doing the interviews and all of that.
Yeah, those are pretty much what I thought of. Yeah, like he covered a lot of what I was going to say. I don't know what else to add from that.
So then what did you learn about hiring?
Probably just hire a person that was best fit for the company, that will work good with all the candidates and really be able to fulfill the responsibilities and tasks that's required of them.
Yeah, so like hiring. Sorry.
So go ahead.
I was going to say, because we said hiring is part of the interview process, so make sure that the interviewees are thorough, as we've talked about, and ask the right questions and make appropriate notes so that they have all the information that they need for when it comes to actually hiring someone. So they are able to hire the best person for the job.
Like that. One of the things I learned kind of goes along with that. It's important to have similar criteria and to use lots of different techniques. So maybe getting some people through an internship while other people you're asking behavioral questions, and kind of a process where you have lots of different. You get to see the actual candidate at work and not just what he or she said. Like it's really easy to make it. But like during a traditional interview, a lot of the interview questions are good. So I guess that was one of the things that it's important to ask lots of different types of questions if you are doing an interview, but also have lots of different questions. Okay. That's about it. I'm supposed to ask for you each to rate the overall quality of today's discussion.
I'd give it a 9. I think that we talked about all the topics and everything that was in the case and determined really what was the best strategies and what wasn't.
Yeah, I say it was good, minus my lack of attention.
Well, I get it. It's been a crazy week for everybody. So.
Yeah, I have all these 3 kids until today, and I'm also doing 22 credits, and yeah.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
I have one kid at 17 credits, and I'm like,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and then what did I, as a team, or as a discussion leader, what did I do this time?
What did you do what?
What did I do this
time? I think you knew the details about the case and knew really what was happening with it all.
What could I do better next time?
I'll let Kai answer this one.
Okay. I don't know, because you seem like you know what you're talking about, and you're asking good questions and able to help us with our answers and give us good feedback.
I think one of the things I should have done, I should have gone because I went through the questions and I didn't realize how much time they were going to take, so I should have chosen out. Okay, I think that's it. I'm gonna
should we talk about the doohickey?
Oh yeah.